Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan. Today is day one of the Sun's Out, Books Out Readathon. I am so excited to be kicking this off. I feel like I sound tired. Do I sound tired? It's Monday morning today, and I have a very busy week ahead, and so I feel like it's a great week to be vlogging this readathon. I'm also hoping to get lots of reading done, but let's talk about what's going on. So why this week is kind of interesting. One, it is my last week at my current job. Actually, I accepted a new position within the same company that I work for. It's going to be a work from home position, which I am so excited about, but that starts next week. So this week is my last week on the job, like where I have to go to the site and everything. And I feel like there are two different types of people who leave jobs. The one is the people who are like, well, I'm leaving, so I don't care. I'm just gonna stop doing like all my normal tasks. And then the second type of person is the one who like wants to take care of everything and hand off everything really smoothly and like not make everyone else's jobs really difficult when they leave. And I'm trying to be that second person. So I am expecting this week to be a fairly busy week of work. That is going to be made easier by the second fun fact of the week, which is that I don't have any children this week. They are up in North Dakota, which is where I'm from and where my husband's family is from. The kids are staying with his parents, so my in-laws, their grandparents. They don't get to see them a ton because they're 7 hours away. It's not like we see them every weekend or anything like that. And we had two back-to-back wedding weekends up there, and so we figured between the two weddings we would leave the kids up with the grandparents so that they don't have to drive back and forth as much, and then we get a week of sort of relaxation but also sort of like quick panic get everything done while we don't have kids. So it's going to be a busy week but relaxing, and that's another reason I should have a lot of time for reading. So I do have a lot of like projects I want to get done at home. Obviously, starting a remote job, I want to make sure I have a good home office situation, and we do have like longer term plans for that I'm not going to get done this week, but I do want to get an initial setup done, so I will be doing that in this vlog. It's also supposed to be relatively nice this whole week, so I'm hoping to go outside, do some reading outside, do some activities outside, and then we will just see what else comes up. I'm excited for a really fun week. Let's talk about the reading that I'm gonna do. So I'm being perhaps a bit ambitious with my reading goals for the week. I want to read 5 books or 5 things, which under normal circumstances is a lot for me in a week, but again, with no kids and I have a lot of them on audio, I think I can get it done. So there are 5 reading prompts for this readathon, plus there's a buddy read, so it's kind of like 6 things you can knock off with reading prompts. So the first one is the buddy read for the readathon. That is The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. This is a mystery thriller. I believe it might be young adult because it is set at a summer camp. I'm really not sure if this is like a and then there were none, everybody starts turning up dead type situation, or whether there is like a deeper mystery thing happening. Not sure, just gonna go in hoping for the best and excited to read this with everyone else in the readathon and kind of talk about it together. So that's the first thing I plan to read this week. Then I have a couple of things that I don't own physically, but I want to read via audio. The first is Family of Liars by E. Lockhart. This is a prequel to a book called We Were Liars, which is like a young adult mystery thriller that has a really good twist that I really loved. I gave it 5 stars. And this prequel is about the family that book is about. So the family is super wealthy. They like own their own island and they all go there for the summer to vacation together, and there are like cousins, aunts and uncles, grandparents, like the whole family, and there's lots of drama, especially because they're wealthy. There's a lot of like money drama going on. So this prequel is about that family. So I think it's about like the parents' generation. I received this audiobook through Libro FM for their ALC program, so I'm so excited to finally be getting to it. I got it last month. I wanted to read it quickly, but here we are at the end of June and I still haven't read it. So I'm gonna read that. It's pretty short. It's only 8 hours and 50 minutes, and that's one-time speed. Normally I read faster than that. So hoping to knock that out within a day or 2. And that is going to fulfill the prompt of a beach setting, again, because it's like this whole island that this family owns. Then the next thing I want to read exclusively on audio is The AI Who Loved Me by Alyssa Cole. This is the only non-thriller I have on this TBR, I'm pretty sure. This I have on Audible, and I don't remember why exactly I have it. I think it might have been free one day when I was browsing or something. I think it's an Audible original. So I think it was free to download at one point, and so I did, and I just never got around to it. But I'm kind of trying to knock out like everything I have on all of my services because I so frequently forget about audiobooks I have saved and things. We're gonna try to knock it out. I believe it's a romance, and I believe it's between a human and an artificial intelligence. It is only 5 hours and 18 minutes on Audible, so that is going to be super, super quick as well to knock out. And so I am planning on using this one for the prompt of read a book while on a picnic. I think that'll be perfect. I can put it on while I'm like preparing a little picnic basket or tray or whatever I end up doing, and then taking it outside to relax and listen to a short, quick book. That will be really fun, and it'll probably be pretty nice to break up some of the mystery thrillers with like a romance. That's the idea. Okay, next, the one I want to get to is Finlay Donovan Knocks Him Dead by Elle Cosimano. This is the sequel to Finlay Donovan is Killing It, which is kind of like a cozy mystery thriller book about this woman who is a mom, and she's an author, and she's kind of like scrambled, doesn't really have her life together. In the first book, she gets pegged as a hit woman on accident, like someone thinks she's talking about a real life murder when she was actually talking about a murder in her books. But the woman who overhears her is like, hey, I will pay you a lot of money to kill my husband. And so Finlay finds herself in the middle of that situation. This is the sequel to that. I don't really know much about the plot of this book, but I'm hearing people generally enjoy it, just like they enjoyed the first one. So very excited to get to this. I am using this for 2 prompts. I'm using it for a chill thriller because this is definitely chill and more of like a fun thriller. Again, some people reference to it as a cozy mystery, so it has that kind of fun, relaxed vibe. And then also chosen by a friend because I know Liv from Liv's Library really loves Finlay Donovan. She loves both of the books, and she's so excited for people to read this. And when I put this on my potential June TBR, she did comment and say, hey, you should definitely read that this month. So I'm counting it as a recommendation from her, and I think I'm really going to enjoy it. And then the last book that I want to read is a recent edition. This was not on my original TBR that I was planning, but why not be a little bit more ambitious? So this is kind of the bonus book. If I don't get to it, or if I don't get to any book on this TBR, it'll be this book that I drop. But I was struggling on the prompt yellow on the cover originally because I didn't have any yellow books at that time. So the AI Who Loved Me is the one I originally picked for that because it has a really small like laundry basket or something that's yellow. But since picking that, I did obtain a more yellow book. So I think I'm going to also try to fit in Date Night by Samantha Hayes for the prompt of yellow on the cover because this is a much more yellow book than that other one is. I assume from the title that this is kind of a domestic thriller about a couple who goes on a date night and then something happens. I'm sure it gets wild from there. I haven't heard a ton about this book. I mostly bought it because of the cover, to be completely honest. I looked on Goodreads and didn't see anything standing out in terms of like, this book is amazing or this book is terrible. So I'm expecting it to be pretty middle of the road, but I am still interested in reading it. So I'm going to do that. So those are the 5 things that I want to read this week. I already feel like I need to stop talking, start reading, get on with my week. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I will of course be vlogging and showing you things along the way. So let's just get on with it, shall we? I'm about to drive to work. I am going to start an audiobook on the drive. I think I'm gonna start Family of Liars. I would love to get that book just knocked out today if I can. So let's go ahead and get started with that plan. I will check in when I have an update later today.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Okay, it is 4:40 p.m. so I am done with my regular workday. I look sweaty because it's hot out and I had to turn my AC off to film this clip, so I'm gonna try to keep this quick. Basically, I'm done with my normal workday, but I do need to stay and meet with the nights team that I manage for one last time because I'm their manager, but this is my last week as their manager. I want to do one closing like meeting with them. So that is what I am planning on doing. So in the meantime, they get in at 6. And like I said, it's 4:40, so I do have a little bit over an hour to do some reading. So I thought I would just sit in my car and read. For that time, Kayla is actually doing sprints right now on her membership, or with her members on her channel. So I have this on. I'm planning on reading. I'm gonna go ahead and start physically, if I can get it out of all my stuff, The Counselors, because I want to read this physically, or I have to read this physically, and I want to read it early on in the readathon so I can talk to everyone about it. So I'm going to start this right now. I can provide a brief update because I did listen to Family of Liars on the drive here and then a little bit at lunchtime, and I am, let's see, 30% of the way in. It's a short audiobook, so I'm not that surprised I'm that far. I'm liking it so far. I'm interested to see where it goes and like what the purpose of this prequel is, because to me, my favorite part of We Were Liars was the twist. Like, yes, I liked the characters and I had fun with the rich, like, family vibes, but I didn't leave that book saying I wish I knew more about the family history. So if that's all that this book is trying to do, I don't think I'm going to love it or feel like it was needed, but I'm giving it a chance because I think it might be more than that. Like, if it has a twist or something unexpected that just brings it to the same, like, reading experience level as We Were Liars, then I'll be all in. I will give a couple of warnings. First of all, this prequel does completely spoil We Were Liars. Like, in chapter 1, right away, it basically recaps everything that happens in We Were Liars and then goes into why this prequel is being told. So don't think that just because it's a prequel means that you can or should read it first. Definitely still read it second. And then also, this book is very dark, or talks about dark themes, just like We Were Liars did. Even though it kind of seems like a young adult type story, I would just warn you to proceed with caution that it's not a light and fluffy story. This one in particular, so far, it deals with grief as well as addiction. I will listen more to that one when I'm on my way home and probably when I'm home tonight doing stuff, but right now I'm gonna read The Counselors for about an hour, finish up my late night work day, and then I'm hoping I will be home before sprints start, I think on Liv's channel. Maybe not, it might be someone else's channel. Let me just check and see whose channel sprints are on tonight. No, it's on Keisha's channel from A Book Like You. She is doing reading sprints tonight at 7:15 p.m. my time. So hoping I can get in to meet with my team at 6, get out within 45 minutes, be home by 7:15 to do those reading sprints, and have a fun, productive night reading. So that's the plan. I'll be back when I have more.
All will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Okay, it is time to wrap up day 1 of the readathon. I just got off of the sprints with Keisha and Kendall and Liv, and that was really fun and actually really helpful for getting through a lot of the books that I'm reading. So I did get to page 150 in The Counselors, and I'm liking this one so far. It's kind of funny because this is the group buddy read for this readathon, and so lots of other people are reading it at the same time as me. And a lot of people are not liking it. But at this point, I don't really know why. I do like YA mystery thrillers, so I do think I have a higher tolerance for like kind of cheesy teenage like angst and problems. So I'm okay with, I think, some of the things that are bothering other people. This book, a brief synopsis, is about our main character named Goldie, who grew up going to this summer camp. And this summer camp is like this really bougie summer camp that is really expensive, and so only rich kids go there. But Goldie actually gets to go there because both of her parents work at the camp. So she is like the only one that is not actually rich, but she's still friends with all of these people at this camp. And she's been going there ever since she was a kid, and now she's a senior in high school, or it's the summer after her senior year in high school, and she is a counselor for her second year. And so in this book, we're getting 2 timelines. We're getting the present day timeline, and then we're also getting the past timeline, which is only about 6 months ago. And it's about something that happened to Goldie while she's in high school with like her regular, not rich friends that really changed her life. And now she's with her rich friends in the present day, kind of trying to deal with what happened to her, but also trying to hide that part of her life from her rich friends. And then to add to it, something happened in the present day timeline at the camp that is very mysterious and is kind of making things even more tricky for Goldie to navigate. So kind of a lot going on. A lot of people are saying this is slow and boring, and I don't really get that. I feel like actually kind of a lot is happening, and we already have gotten quite a bit of information from the past timeline that could have easily been left until the very end of the book, but we got it early, so now I'm like, okay, what else is gonna happen from here? I also personally really love the summer camp vibes of this book, and I'm not sure if that's because I did go to summer camp as a kid. I went to like Girl Scout camp. It was not 2 months long, it was like a week long, but I still did like a lot of the activities they're talking about in here. So part of it is nostalgic, but I also just love the summer camp like vibe and the activities that the author can write about. Because of those elements, it kind of reminds me of The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and that was a 5-star thriller for me. So I don't know, I'm vibing with it, I'm liking it. I am just about halfway, so I'm excited to continue this, and hopefully we'll finish it tomorrow. And then also on my drive home and when I was eating supper tonight, I did get to 46% through Family of Liars. So I'm almost halfway through both of my first 2 books, which I'm really excited about. Family of Liars is okay. It's interesting because it also has like the rich family vibes. So both of these books kind of have commentary on rich families and children who grow up in rich families. But so far, Family of Liars is just telling us about the childhood of the women in this Sinclair family who are the mothers in We Were Liars, and in this book they're the daughters, so we're following them as like teenagers. So I'm hoping that one picks up. I do have hopes that there could be some kind of twist or reveal or just something that kind of changes things up, and if that happens, that will be a good thing and what I was hoping for. But as of now, I'm in the middle of it and it's just kind of dragging along. So I will continue listening to it. It's a very fast audiobook and it's fine to listen to, so I will definitely make my way through that. But I'm hoping that I have a better opinion to share once I finish that one. So I'm going to call that a wrap on day 1. I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. It's 10 p.m. for me. Other than finishing these 2 books tomorrow, which I do definitely hope and plan to do, we will see what else I feel like doing. Maybe depending on the weather, I might try to do the picnic, or I might try to do some like fun errands and things. Oh, Riley Sager's new book comes out tomorrow, so I do feel like I should go pick that up and perhaps browse to see if there are other things available. So I will of course take you with me if I do that. So I will see where the day takes me and I'll update when I have some more things to say. Otherwise, I will just bring the camera around and show you what I'm up to.
Going back, I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going live. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Okay, happy day 2, you guys. It is Tuesday. It's actually 12:47 p.m. so we're well into Tuesday. I've just been working all morning, and then I'm on my lunch break right now, and I figured during lunch I would hop over to Barnes & Noble, so that's what I did. I got 2 things. One I was intending to get, and that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, his newest thriller. I'm very excited to read this. Early reviews have been interesting. Some mixed reviews, and one person I know said this is gonna be his most polarizing book yet, which I think is really interesting considering how polarizing Survive the Night was. Part of me is like, should I abandon my TBR and read this now? But I won't, but I could fit this in as yellow on the cover, so I might swap this out and read this one later this week, but we will see. And then the other book that I picked up was not one I was intending to get, but it's one I've had my eye on, and that's Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've seen a couple of my friends read this book recently. It's not a brand new book, published in 2018, so it's a couple years old, but I've seen really good reviews for this lately, and I do love the brand new cover for it. I have an interesting relationship with Christina Lauren. First I read The Unhoneymooners, did not like that book, gave it 2 stars. Then I read The Soulmate Equation, that one was okay, and I gave it 3 stars. And then I just most recently read Something Wilder, really enjoyed that one, gave it 4 stars. So I'm kind of slowly coming onto the Christina Lauren train, and the synopsis of that one is one that sounds like it might be up my alley. So I'm planning to give it a try in the somewhat near future. But new plans have developed for today after work. My husband texted me and he asked if I wanted to go to a movie. We were also thinking about going to B-Dubs because they have a gift card. So we're gonna do a little date night tonight. Since we have no kids, that's definitely not something we get to do super often. So it'll be kind of nice to have some, you know, husband-wife time. So that is the plan for this evening. I still plan to finish both of my books. I'm really close to the end of Family of Liars, and I'll just save my thoughts until I'm completely done and can share full wrap-up thoughts. And then I've made no more progress in The Counselors yet, but after our date night tonight, I do think there will be enough time for me to sit down and read the rest of that. So that is the plan. I'm gonna go back to work now. I will bring you along for our evening of fun, and then I will check in again when I have another reading update. Okay, I just finished Family of Liars. On my drive, I just drove to our very fancy date destination. And I finished the book, and I was really hoping that the ending of this book would just hit. Just like We Were Liars, the ending for me totally pulled it all together, but man, this ending did not hit. I feel like I'm gonna have to talk some spoilers to fully flesh out my feelings, but I'll do that in a second because obviously this is a pretty brand new book, so I don't want to spoil it for everyone. So non-spoilery thoughts. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. The majority of it was really boring. It was really just the family dynamics of this rich family and like the backstory of these characters that we see in the first book. And the thing about prequels is that the characters that you're getting the backstory of, you already know generally what happens to them because you got the main story. So like in this example, we're following the family and the women who are the moms in We Were Liars, and like, you know, they all grow up to have children. So like the stakes are relatively low for them. You know, things are generally going to work out for them, at least until the events of the main book you already read. You know what I mean? So I never really felt super like invested in our main character because I'm like, I already know where you end up. So there's that. I did like, there's a lemon hunt that happens in this book that is kind of like an Easter egg hunt, but you know, rich people do it with lemons, I guess. And I thought that was a fun scene. And then the other reason I'm giving it 2 stars instead of 1 is because I do think there's a small audience here who is looking for more of that family backstory, and that is who I would recommend this book to. Like, not for the people looking for another amazing twist or anything like that, but just people who want to know more about the family, the backstory, the characters, whatever. So now let's get into spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil everything that happens. I just wanna talk about the format of the twist in this book. So if you don't wanna hear about that, go ahead and mute me or skip forward until the word spoilers is off the screen. But let's talk about the twist in this book, which I'm gonna argue is not a twist. Basically, the format of this book is we have our main character, Carrie, whose son is asking her, what is the worst thing you ever did? Like as a child or whatever. And so our main character is telling her story, starting with her early childhood and going through her like teen years and everything, and talking about all the shenanigans she got into. And then she tells a story of the worst thing she ever did. She gets to the end of the story, and then the next chapter, she's like, remember how I said I'm a liar? That's not actually what happened. Here's what happened. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, that twist only works if something happens in between to change the situation of the storyteller. Like, someone either has to say something that now makes it okay to tell the truth, or something has to have changed, like there was a reason she had forgotten the truth or was repressing the truth, or some reason the truth was like being hidden, and then now something changes, so now it's okay to tell the actual truth. But that didn't happen. It was just like one long story. She was telling the story, then she changed the story. So it was just completely pointless. Like, that wasn't a twist. And it felt very much like this author knew that all of the readers would be going into this book expecting as big of a twist as the first book. And I'm one of those, 100%. That's what I was hoping for in this book. So then she manufactured a twist out of absolutely nothing, and it just was completely not a twist. So that just made no sense to me, and was a huge disappointment. So with that, like I said, 2 stars, big disappointment. I would not recommend this book to the majority of people who liked We Were Liars. I never thought We Were Liars needed a sequel, so now I'm left even more like, don't read this prequel if you were satisfied with We Were Liars, because now having a bad prequel just like taints the regular book, you know what I mean? So that is a bummer, but I am glad to have my first book done for this readathon and to have a fun night ahead. I am a little bit early, so I'm gonna spend probably about 15 minutes reading in the car here before my husband gets here. We have our little date, and then I will continue reading tonight. Again, the plan is to finish The Counselors tonight too, so that I will have finished 2 books in 2 days. So I'll check in whether or not that happens and to let you know how my reading is going later.
But I'll be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago.
Okay, good morning everyone. Happy day 3 of the readathon. Last night, after we got home, I ended up going pretty much to bed because I was much more tired than I thought. And on one hand, while I want to be super productive this week while we don't have our kids, I also want to get a lot of sleep when we don't have our kids. So I just went to bed, so I'm a little behind on reading. The movie was good. We went to the new Top Gun Maverick. I'm not sure if I said that already. I haven't really seen the first one. I've fallen asleep during it, so I didn't really understand all of the callbacks to that movie. So definitely if you have seen the original, you probably will love this new one, but I still really enjoyed the new one. And yeah, I got a little bit further into The Counselors. I'm on page 180 instead of 150, so I read like 30 pages. This one is getting to the point now where I just want to know what is happening. I want to know the ending. I want to know what happened in the past. We're definitely getting to the point where I'm hoping the action is gonna pick up and we're gonna get some answers, and then we'll see if it's, you know, a satisfying ending or not. So obviously I wanted to finish that last night, but didn't quite get there. So I wanna finish it as soon as possible today. It is about 30 minutes before I have to leave for work. So I'm gonna spend that time reading this as fast as I can. And then because I'm done with my audiobook that I finished yesterday, I will start a new audiobook on my drive to work. I think I'm gonna start Finley Donovan is Killing It. Or I mean, Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead, the sequel to Finley Donovan is Killing It, and I'm really excited about this one. I know Liv's excited for me to read this one. She's excited for everyone to read Finley Donovan. So this will be my audiobook to start today. After work today, I didn't think I had any plans, and then something has come up with some of my coworkers to do like dinner and drinks. So it definitely feels like I can't say no to that with no kids. So I'm going to be doing that for a little while. Not sure how long that's gonna last, but when I get home from that, we'll have to see what I can do. I want to do the picnic still at some point. Tomorrow night, I don't think I've even mentioned yet, tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow night is when we are leaving to go back to North Dakota for the wedding. So North Dakota is about 7 hours away from where we live now, and that wedding is on Friday night, so we have to go up on Thursday. So Friday we're taking off of work, so that should be a good reading day also, but I will have the kids again, so it's gonna be a lot more taking care of them as well. But we'll deal with all of that when we get there. Let's focus on today. So I'm gonna read a little bit, go to work, do things with coworkers after work, and then come home, see if I can do like a picnic or maybe be productive and maybe read. We will see. I will keep you posted, let you know what's happening, and let you know my reading update. All right, you guys. It is Tuesday night. I just got home after dinner, drinks, and then trivia with some work friends, which was really fun, really needed. Since I started working at this job right during COVID, we didn't get to do a lot of like happy hour, team building type events. So this is one of the first times I've gone out with some coworkers, and I really enjoyed it. Of Of course, that happens right before I'm about to leave the building and leave an in-person job and go to remote. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to replicate that in the future, but hopefully I find out a way, because that was fun and a nice break and something that tells me I probably need a little more social interaction in my daily life that isn't with toddlers. Really fun night. No, we did not win trivia, but we had fun, we had good drinks, and that's all that matters. As far as this readathon goes, I feel like I'm behind on my goals, but at the same time, I do not need to read a book a day. I can still reach all my goals, not read a book a day, and be on schedule. So The Counselors, yes, I am still in the middle of this book. I am on page 212. So I think I have just over 100 pages left. I am going to try to read more tonight, but I'll probably get tired. Who knows if I'll finish it. I did do lots of audiobook listening today throughout driving, and I am on page approximately like 242 out of around 350, so only about 100 pages left to go in the second Finley Donovan book as well. So that's great. I can definitely finish this by tomorrow morning, I think, if I listen to it tonight as I get ready for bed, and then tomorrow morning when I get up and get ready for work. That's probably about the amount of time that's left in this book, so I should have this knocked out. So I feel like with my progress in these two books, I'm well on track, you guys. Calm down. And that means I only have left The AI Who Left Me, which is like a 5-hour audiobook. And then I have whichever yellow book I want to read, if it's Date Night or The House Across the Lake. I'm still leaning towards The House Across the Lake, since that's new and fresh and fun, and I want to be in on the talk about that book. But let's not get there until we've finished the books that I'm in the middle of right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to bed. I will check in tomorrow for day 4 of the readathon, which means we will be over halfway through, which is sad, but exciting. Tomorrow is also my last day of work in the office, which is crazy. I have to clean out my desk tomorrow. I've already started bringing some stuff home, but I have a little bit more to do still. So I'll be doing all of that tomorrow, and then I will be a fully remote employee. And yes, I do still have to set up my home office. That might turn into a Sunday project, but all right, that's a wrap on day 3. I will check in with you tomorrow.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta break.
Hi guys, I am at my in-laws' house. It is 11:50 p.m. So today's kind of gotten away from me. Happy day 4. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 of the readathon. Today was very, very busy. First of all, I went to work. I did have my last day in the office, which was bittersweet for sure, kind of closing everything out, saying bye to all my coworkers and everything like that. And then as soon as I left work, I went home and packed, and then we got in the car and started driving up to North Dakota. This is the 5th 7-hour drive I've done so far in June. We have one more. And then in the car, I really just started not feeling well. I got a headache and I can feel the start of a cold coming on, which is really unfortunate, but that means I slept the entire drive instead of reading or doing anything productive. So this readathon has really gone downhill really quickly. I'm hoping I can make up for it this weekend, but at this point I'm not making any promises. I'm just gonna see how this weekend goes. We have a wedding tomorrow, and then we'll be driving home on Saturday, and then we'll have Sunday to just catch up on house stuff, kid stuff, hopefully reading, but I'll take you along for what I can and update you when I can. But that's the update for now. I'm just gonna go to bed. We're gonna call this a flop of a readathon day.
We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it, and I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
All right, you guys, hi. It is Monday, so the readathon is officially over. The weekend completely got away from me. Vlogging got away from me, so I apologize. But I did want to come on here, wrap things up. I left you hanging on a couple books, so we're gonna clear up what I did the rest of the weekend. First of all, though, I am not really able to do a picnic today. I mean, I could, but it's really hot outside and I really don't want to, like, by myself. So I did just cut up some meat and cheese and do like a little cheese board thing for myself for lunch, and we are calling this my picnic so I can kind of check off that prompt a day late. I don't know, you guys. Books. So I think the only book that I had finished and already talked to you about was Family of Liars, so not gonna go into that again, other than obviously it was a big disappointment. We're gonna talk about a couple of other disappointments, unfortunately. So I did finish The Counselors. I really liked and was excited about the summer camp vibes of this book, and I think the people who enjoyed this book the most also had that nostalgia piece that made that part of this book like really stick out and you could connect to it. Unfortunately, the mystery element of this book really didn't work for me. It went into like a money-centered direction, which is not all that surprising, again, given the background where it's like rich kids at this camp with rich parents versus this little bit more rundown town and not as wealthy people who live in the town. It makes sense that there would be a lot of tension there and that money would be the root of it. I just don't find that to be a super intriguing plot. So I didn't really care about the mystery part of this or the resolution of all of that. So overall, I'm giving this 3 stars because it was a fast enough read. I did enjoy parts of it, but I also didn't care about other parts of it. Just pretty mediocre. It was fun to read this along with everyone else during the readathon though. I will never regret doing a buddy read where I can talk to other people about what I'm thinking. But all in all, 3 stars. And then I also finished, but don't think I've told you about, Finlay Donovan Knocks Him Dead. I was excited to read this, but I was also kind of nervous because I don't really like series in general or sequels to mystery thriller books because I just don't find them necessary. And it's kind of for this reason, because this book didn't really have an objective. Like the first book was very clear. We were kind of rooting for Finlay to do something kind of bad or to do something, you know, for herself that was kind of morally gray, but it was kind of fun to have that thing to root for. And in this one, Finlay was just kind of playing defense the whole time. There was nothing, like no objective for her, and also she was just trying to be good the whole time. I wanted there to be something for me to want for her, but instead it was just like she was in this situation where she was trying not to let anything bad happen, so she was just kind of deflecting things. I don't know, it just felt kind of directionless, and I'm curious to see where the rest of this series goes, because if it's just this same thing over and over again, that is going to get really stale really quickly. So I feel like she needs an objective. She needs to make a decision of like, what is she going to do? Is she going to lean into the morally gray stuff to make money, or is she gonna be good, just like deflecting these other crimes happening around her? I don't know. So I think for future books in this series, I'm gonna wait to learn more about the synopses and what people are saying about them before just diving in, because I don't really want to waste my time just reading about fluff, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe that's a little harsh to call this book fluff, but I'm gonna give it 3 stars because it just didn't do what the first book did for me. And then for my last book of the readathon, I did finish 4 books in total. I kind of hinted that I was gonna do this because I didn't know if I could resist the hype, and I couldn't. So I went ahead and read The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and I'm really glad I did because this is going to be a great one to see everyone's reactions to. So this book, the setup is very typical domestic thriller. We have this woman who is living at this lake cabin place, and it's obviously on a lake, and across the lake her neighbors are this really rich couple. The wife is like an ex-supermodel, the husband is like an app developer tech guy, and so our main character really likes watching them. They have, of course, like the big glass house with all the windows so she can perfectly see into them at night. Something happens to the wife, and so our main character is like honed in on watching what is happening and trying to figure out who is at the bottom of it. She suspects the husband because of things that she's watched them do in their house, but she's trying to solve that mystery. And because of that synopsis, I didn't expect to absolutely love this book going in. I kind of just read it because I've read all of Riley Sager's books at this point. I knew everyone else was going to be reading this book, but I figured as a domestic thriller with that setup, I probably wouldn't love it because I just don't like domestic thrillers in general. I don't like reading about neighborhood dynamics, cheating couples, that kind of stuff, which is always where these books seem to go in direction. But then I got to the twist and I laughed out loud when I got to it. It is definitely a twist that is going to be polarizing. You are either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I didn't care for most of this book, but I really liked the twist. I am here for it. I am here for outlandish, like left field twists that you never saw coming, that you would have had no reason to guess based on clues throughout the story or anything like that. I would rather be surprised than feel like a detective because I guessed the twist from all the clues, if that makes sense. But that's just me. I know that people have very different opinions about thrillers and mysteries and how twists are revealed and things like that. So I know I may be in the minority of being behind this twist, but I'm just so excited to hear people's reactions about it. After the twist, I feel pretty okay about the resolution of this book. I definitely wasn't trying to guess anything else about the reveal, so I just kind of let it come, let it happen. And so I can't really say whether anything else in the ending was surprising or unsurprising, because I was just like, I was done guessing. I was just ready for it all to be revealed to me. And overall, I actually really liked this book. I'm gonna give it 4 stars, which puts this probably in the 3rd place position for me for Riley Sager's books. My 2 favorites are Home Before Dark and Last Time I Lied. Both of those are 5 stars for me. And then 4 stars, we have this one, and then Final Girls is 4 stars. And then Lock Every Door, I also rated 4 stars initially, but I think I would probably lower that to about 3 stars in hindsight. And then Survive the Night was 2 stars for me. So at this point, we've got a spectrum of ratings for Riley Sager books, and this one being at 3rd place, I'm pretty happy about and pleasantly surprised. Again, because I didn't have the highest of hopes or expectations going into this one. So that was my Suns Out, Books Out readathon experience. Definitely not exactly what I was expecting, but then again, this whole month of June has been absolutely crazy for me personally. I realized I never showed you like the setup of my home office, and it's very, very rough right now. I'm in a guest room of ours, and we're probably gonna do a little bit more major of renovation down there. We want to do like a Murphy bed, so that's going to take some construction, some building by my husband, and it's definitely going to take more time than we've had in June. So once he does that, then I will probably arrange it more to be like an actual conducive home office. But right now it's functional. I've got my desk laid out as I need it, and I've got a blank background behind me so that when I'm on video calls, nobody can see the rest of the mess in the room. So it is functional for now, but I am excited to continue in this job and to continue my home office setup journey and progress. So I'm sure that content will make its way into future vlogs, and you can stay caught up on that. But I think that is enough of a wrap up for this readathon. Thank you so much to all of the hosts of this readathon for creating it. I really hope it continues on in the future. I feel like it will, because I think it got some pretty good support this time around. And so hopefully if you did not get a chance to participate this year, you will get to in the future. So with that, I think I'm going to get back to finishing my lunch and then get back to work for the afternoon. So I don't have anything else. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.